Alright guys, so welcome to today's movie day. Today I'm gonna go see Halloween. I'm very excited for this movie. I've only watched out of the Halloween movies, the 15 different movies that there is with Michael Myers in it. I've only seen the original movie and the sequel to the original movie because I know a lot of people confuse the original and the Rob Zombie movies because they're called Halloween, and this one's called Halloween too. I don't know why they just don't change the fucking names of these movies. But anyways, yeah, I'm very excited for this movie. I stopped at Halloween 2 because I didn't like it, and I didn't want to keep on watching the sequels that are potentially going to be even worse and ruin my anticipation for this movie. So I'm very excited about this one. Plus that Happy Death Day 2 trailer is attached to it, and I haven't seen it. I'm very excited to see that trailer as well. So yeah, as of right now,
Jeremiah, please, page 222, Jeremiah 222.
But anyways, I guess let's let this movie day begin.
Cue the music.
Alright guys, so I did go see Halloween twice. The first time I saw it in Dolby. Second time, yesterday, I saw it with my parents in regular. And just to get out of the way, for those of you guys wondering if you guys should spend the extra few dollars to see this movie in the premium format screen like Dolby. Honestly, aside from the much larger screen and the 4K projection, which the 4K projection on this movie looked really good. It was very bright and very vivid. Aside from those two factors, the much larger screen and the 4K projection, I couldn't tell that much of a difference between the Dolby Cinema showing and the standard showing. So, and this movie was not mastered for Dolby Atmos, so you're not gonna get that Dolby Atmos surround sound. So it's not even the complete Dolby experience. I think it's just there so you could see the movie on a much larger screen and brighter projection. But aside from that, I'd only recommend going to Dolby if you care about the 4K projection. If not, which a lot of you guys don't, then you're going to be fine seeing this movie in standard, which I think is the way that I would recommend watching this movie. But anyways, yeah, Halloween, let's move on to a review. So this new Halloween movie puts all the other Halloween movies to shame because this one, unlike the others, is actually a direct sequel to the OG original Halloween movie. And in this movie, Michael Myers manages to escape on a bus ride transfer, going loose once again on Halloween night, attacking and killing many other people. And even after 40 years, Laurie is not over it, and this time she is ready to take on Michael. So I just recently saw that first Halloween movie for the very first time, and I actually kind of loved that movie. It really made for a new genre and started to feel for slasher movies. Now, I did not like the sequel after the original Halloween movie because it was repetitive, and I felt like they could have just ended the movie after 35 minutes. And that's the problem with a lot of slasher movies nowadays. They just feel so repetitive and it just kind of gets boring sometimes. But there's just something so different about this new Halloween movie that it just doesn't really exactly feel repetitive at all. I mean, yeah, he is killing, and I guess you could say he's kind of doing the same thing over and over again, but there's just something different about the way that they handle it within this movie. That it's just sort of different, and he's actually sort of leading his path to the finale of this movie. And the kills in this movie are extremely graphic, and they're pretty shocking at points. Watching this movie from the audience is a very good experience because of how shocking those kills could actually get. Which is another reason why this movie never exactly felt tiring. This movie had that energy to it. And Jamie Lee Curtis, once again, comes back to this role, and she still has the star power that she had in that first movie. I also really liked Judy Greer as Laurie's daughter here, and she actually serves a pretty big purpose to this movie, whereas Laurie is concerned for not just only her daughter, but for her daughter's family, because her biggest obstacle, which is Michael, is out there, and she is willing to do anything to protect her family, and they've really established that very well in this movie. But there are some major problems within this movie, and it's even noticeable the second time around when I only just try enjoying it, because the first time when I watched the movie, I not only just try enjoying the movie, but I also try kind of critiquing it for my reviews. And the second time around, I only just tried watching this movie and enjoying it, but those problems were just so noticeable. I just obviously have to point them out in my review. First of all, the writing is a bit off here and there. Like, there are some parts where I think that they could have done much better with, especially in the first two acts of the movie. There are some very weird things that they do in those first two. Well, not weird, but very odd things that they do in those first two acts. And this movie does have quite a few explaining to do as well, where there are some giant plot holes in this movie. Like, one of them being, how is it that Michael even escaped from that bus? I mean, we know that the bus crashed, but we never even knew what was the cause to it. And how even if Michael was the cause of it, how did he do it? They never showed it, or they never talked about it. And after Michael is on the loose on Halloween night, they just completely abandon the fact that he just escaped from a bus, because it's literally never even brought up ever again in the movie. And it just leads for a big major question. How is it that the bus crashed? How is it that they perfectly escaped? Also, more plot holes in this movie to what happened to certain characters after they were last seen on screen, which leaves for more questions throughout the movie. And one of my biggest problems with horror movies is how dumb the characters can be in situations like these. Which, yes, they do this to basically keep the story going, but you can also make them look smart doing it and still keep the story going, which there is example of both in this movie. Both people making very smart decisions and people making very odd and questionable decisions. But overall, I thought that they did a great job reviving this franchise, and in the end, it's not just the directors and the writers that deserve the credit. And by the way, Danny McBride is actually one of the writers in this movie. I just found that very surprising, and you could really tell that what were the scenes that he kind of wrote. Some of the comedy you could tell was from Danny McBride, and they did a really good job. It's just not only the directors and the writer, director and the writer that deserve the credit for this movie, but also Jason Blum and his production company, Blumhouse, which they are just killing it right now. Blumhouse is doing such a great job with many of their properties. Like, this movie at points does have the low-budgeted Blumhouse feel to it, but at points it even has a huge blockbuster feel to it. And this movie was made on a $10 million budget, and for it to feel like a high-budgeted movie, Blumhouse is doing something right. Overall, this movie did not disappoint. Sure, certain aspects of this movie could have been done much better, but for what it really was, it was just a fun ride. I really recommend going out to go see this movie again with an audience, and I recommend paying full price to watch this movie. And with that being said, I'm gonna give Halloween a B+. Anyways, guys, I had a lot of fun making this video. Of course, thanks to my friend Caprice, who actually played the Halloween theme song and the piano at Guitar Center, which played throughout the whole movie day portion of this video. I also kind of had fun discussing this movie to you guys, because I think that this is truly a movie that, it's truly one of the biggest movies of the year. Even though, again, I was one of the smaller budgeted movies, it's still one of the biggest movies of this year. Anyways, have you guys seen this movie? If you guys seen it, what did you guys think about it? Tell me in the comment section below. As always, thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.